Alright guys, so welcome back. So today we're going to go through the process of changing the transmission fluid in your Chevy Cruze. This will apply to any Cruze that has the 6-speed automatic in it. Doesn't apply for the owners with the 6-speed manuals. So if you're looking for that, look elsewhere. So GM recommends changing the fluid every 45,000 miles. I'm a little bit higher than that. I'm right around 52, and I've noticed a little bit of sloppy shifting on it, a little bit hard shifting on it. So I figure it's time to change the fluid. But for the most part, the fluid process is pretty straightforward. There's three things that you're going to be dealing with. The first one is the fill point, which is inside the engine bay. The second one is the drain, which is obviously underneath. And then the third, which is the oil level sight thing, I guess you want to call it. That's the third one. So why don't we go through it real quick and I'll show you where each is located. All right. So obviously the fill one, it's pretty straightforward. That one is in the engine bay, and it's that it's the that black plastic knob that's sitting right on top of the transmission. That just unscrews right out. I guess you always want to check that one first before you drain it. Make sure you can get the fill point off before you drain it, because in the event that that thing is stuck, you're going to be kind of stuck, not being able to get any fluid back in. So the second one is the drain plug. So let's go underneath the car and go show you where it is. And it's right there. It's that 11 millimeter bolt that's sticking out about a ½ inch below the case. So that's number 2. That is the drain. And the third one is the fluid level indicator, which is that 11 millimeter bolt that's to the right of the drive shaft, right? And that is 11 millimeter as well. So what you want to do is, when you're going through the process, obviously if you don't have a lift like me, you have to kind of do it on the floor. So what you want to do is you want to jack up the car, get the tire off, but not to the point where the car is, 8 inches in the air or anything like that. Because you want the car relatively level, because when you go to fill it again, when you remove the bolt from that indicator, that's where the fluid is going to come out. So if the car is too high on one side, you may overfill it. So just jack the car enough just to get the tire off and go from there. So with that being said, why don't we go ahead and remove the drain and start draining this sucker. Alright, so the transmission fluid has been drained. Pretty straightforward. Again, it's just 11 millimeter socket. Make sure you use a 6-point on it and go from there. So as you can see, this stuff is pretty black, which is a common complaint from the Cruze owners, that this transmission fluid seems to get dirty pretty quick. I'm not sure why, but it is a common complaint. So as far as putting the drain back in, just remember it is a fine thread going into the aluminum assembly. So just remember, go ahead and just snug it up. Again, you're not trying to hold down the planet with it. Just snug it up and go from there. Otherwise, you're going to strip it out, and then you're going to have a real bad day. So with that being said, why don't we go ahead and over to the other side of the car and start removing the oil level drain plug, or whatever you want to call it. So let's go ahead and do that now. Alright guys, so the bolt for the oil level indicator has been removed. So the reason why you want to remove that is what's going to happen is, as you put fluid back into the transmission, once it comes up to the correct level, the fluid is going to start weeping out of that hole. Right? So again, this is why when you go to change this, you want to make sure that the car is jacked up to get the tire off, but it's not so high where you're kind of putting the car off at a weird angle where it's going to essentially throw off that the oil level that's coming out of that weep hole. As you guys already know, there is no dipstick in here, so this is what the process is. So GM indicates that when you do a drain and fill, it takes approximately 4.2 quarts of fluid. So let's go over to the bench, and I'm going to show you what I'm using for the fluid swap. Alright guys, so this is what we're going to be using. Castro transmission Dextron 6. It has to be Dextron 6. Don't try to use regular Dextron or something else. And it even says right on the label for use in General Motors vehicles. So I decided to use this. I've gotten very good feedback from research I've done versus the AC Delco fluid that GM originally put in this. It seems to be working pretty good. So again, it's 4.2 quarts. So what we're going to do is we're going to put 4 quarts in it initially. We're going to check where we are in the at the weep hole, and then we're going to start the car out while it's still in the jack, and then we're going to put it all through the gears, reverse, drive, and everything else. We're not going to move the car, but we're going to actually have it go through the gears so the pump starts working in the transmission and pumps the fluid through all the lines and everything else. And so let's go ahead and do that now. Alright guys, so here's a little trick you can do when you're going to fill it. And this is one of the advantages of having the car up on a jack. So what you want to do is ensure that you're level. Take a 4-foot level and just lay it across the core support and basically get it level. And what you can do then is you're going to take a extendable funnel, put in the fill hole, and start filling it. So what you're going to do initially is, with the car off, put 3 quarts of transmission fluid in, and then put 3 quarts in. And then what you want to do at that point is check the fluid level indicator, make sure nothing's coming out. If you're starting to see stuff coming out, go ahead and put in the plug, all right? Then what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to start the engine up, and essentially you're going to leave it in park. And then with the engine running, so all the pumps and the transmission is running and everything else, you're going to take the remaining quart and a half, whatever's left, put it in there, and then put the cover back on the fill hole, put the tire back on, go take it out for a drive, and then get it up to operating temperature, and then check it again. So what you're going to do is, and this is what I just did, is I put in 4 quarts, and I took it out for a 10-minute test drive, and I got it up to operating temp, and then I leveled it off just like it is now, took the tire back off, started up, and took the drain plug out, and with the car running and everything else, there was just a little bit of seepage coming out of the hole. So basically we're right there. So essentially that's it. It's not that complicated other than having to jack it up twice to check the levels. But for the most part, it's pretty simple and straightforward. So again, the key to checking the level is 3 quarts first with it off, and then start it, and then put the last quart and a half while it's running, take it out for a drive, and check the level again. And honestly, don't forget to remember to put your the bolt back in for the indicator level. And essentially that's it. So I hope this helps everybody out. It's pretty straightforward, like I said. If there's any questions, comments, thoughts, concerns, go ahead and leave them in the comments box, and I'll get back to you as soon as I can. And again, as always, thanks for watching, and have a great day. Bye.